have used your coins to do what you needed to have done. That's what you could have did in that order.
In that order.
Because if you come for him, you come for me too. Know that. You got beef for two people. At least minimum. I know that, you know,
Well,
it's more
than that.
It's more than that. Because it is always more with us than it is against us.
We have our team.
We have our teams.
Yes.
But just know I'm the one on this mic today.
Hello. Welcome back to the Pew Baby Show. We are back yet one again. What did I just say?
Once again.
Chop that. We are coming to you with another hot topic. And we know it's going to be some people that's going to have something to say yet again. But we like y'all talking because we know that whether it is negative or positive, it's still marketing. It's still free. Yes, advertise us is all you want. And this title today is entitled Cooking the Beef. Now I know you say cooking the beef. Y'all finna talk about a cooking show? No, we're talking about cooking the beef that are between you and other individuals. Whether that be the workplace, whether that be the church, whether that be the school, whether that be a family member. There's so many different type of beefs that are out there, and during this pandemic and all the times and everything that's going haywire right now, we need to start dealing with some of these beefs, because if you continue to let them go on and linger, the only thing that's going to happen, that beef is going to finally overcook. And when it's overcooked, you already know
You're done.
Done. Chop. Hiya.
Wapaya.
So I guess you're saying, well, what is the beef the Pew Babies could have? Well, one main beef that we have is with people's perception when it comes to the Pew Babies and when it comes to us as individuals is one. If you want to get to know us, get to know us.
Right.
Talk to us, communicate with us, reach out to us. Don't go off of speculation. Don't go off of assumption. Don't go off of rational theories, have you. Get to know us for yourself. Don't judge us on our past. Am I right about it?
You're right.
But take me for the substance that I'm bringing to you here and now, because we grow, we mature. But for some reason, the beefs that we have with people, it seems like they're starting to just show how childish they really are. And that's why we feel like we have to talk about it, because what's the deal? Is there a problem? Roger, what is the malfunction that we have going on?
Houston, we have a problem.
We have a major problem.
Major malfunction.
And, you know, it is such a common thing amongst a lot of individuals right now that there's all type of beef, but they don't want to get dealt with.
Exactly. So in this episode, we want to not only discuss some things, some of the beefs, but also give information on how to cook it, how you cook that thing up, and so it can be done and over. Yes, you
gotta cook that beef.
So since we're talking about, and when earlier when he said Pew Babies, he wasn't talking about us per se, the two of us.
We're talking
in general terms, and I wanted to make sure I made that clear, because you know people will
take any little thing you say and run with it, but that's something that we know we have to deal with, being on the front. And I said fun front, and I meant forefront.
But it's still a fun front because we're having fun.
Yes.
That's how we did.
And you have to have fun,
of course,
because people gonna talk about you whether you like it or not. They gonna be damned if you do, damned if you don't. And yes, I said again. I know I said it last season, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. So guess what? I don't give a
oh, we're gonna bleep that out. But cheering babies, the cheering babies, they be watching.
They hear way worse than that.
Well, anyway, moving on to cooking the beef. So one of the beefs that I know we talked about in our own time was the beef between, and we're gonna keep talking about the traditional church versus the new church, because it has to be dealt with, and until it has been dealt with effectively, effectively.
Effectively, yeah.
It's always going to be a topic of conversation. And so I know that we mentioned it on season 1. Our guests have mentioned it as well. One of the questions that we've been posing to our guests, one of the things that we touched on last season was how could we bring the two together and bring everyone back as a happy family. Both of our guests have said it, we said it, but we wanted to take time to open that door all the way and talk about apologies. I think that it is necessary. Now, you've heard it from 2 different people. You heard us say it, and we're repeating it again.
So this is confirmation.
This is confirmation that this is something that I believe that God wants us to do. You know, He speaks about forgiveness and repentance and
loving thy brother.
Loving thy brother and bringing your faults into your brother before you even bring your offering to the altar and getting things right with one another. And I do believe. Who was it? Was it Janet or was it Justin that talked about Matthew Stevenson? Was that Janet?
I believe that was Janet, yeah.
Talked about how Matthew Stevenson apologized to the young people or the pew babies on behalf of the leadership. And I'm going to say it again. I do believe that that is necessary. And I think that we are owed an apology. You know what I mean? And an apology tour should happen. And I know openly apologize.
Yeah, not no behind the scenes, openly.
Right. And then if you see us coming in the door and you know that there was a beef or a person left wrong or whatever, and I know, you know, leaders that will watch this will say, well, how come we always got to be the one to apologize? If they were the ones that left wrong, then how come they don't need to apologize to us? Well, see, you're the leader.
I was just going to say that's part of being a leader.
You're the leader, and you're the older one in the situation. You know what I mean? Like if you did something wrong to your children, you being a father, you being a mother, would you wait on your child to come and respond to you? Or would you be the bigger person because you are the older person and you are the one in charge and say, you know what, son, you know what, daughter, I didn't handle that right. I apologize to you.
Well, the way I feel, if you are okay with creating more hell and stirring up the pot and creating more friction, what's the problem with you being able to apologize?
Right.
If you don't want to start off with apology, at least initiate the conversation.
Right. And open the door and allow that person to feel comfortable to even approach you, because a lot of young people don't even feel comfortable approaching the church because it's like, well, nah, we got into it. And I know when I walk in, he's just going to act like he don't see me. Or she just going to act like she don't see me because it has happened.
And you got to walk around on eggshells because you don't know what's going to rub that person wrong. And you don't know what's going to be said to rub you wrong. And all you're doing is creating friction.
Right. When you could just be the bigger person, be the leader that you were called to be, and just say, you know what, let's sit down, let's go to lunch. Let me hear. And that's something that Justin said, you know, listening, you know, both parties need to hear each other.
And communicate. But
how can we hear if it's a beef?
Well, you know, it does say in the world, it said in the end days, they will not endure sound doctrine. Come on now, see, that thing will preach by itself. And I mean, it really speaks for itself because you can hear and want to entertain all this other mess. But anything that is worthwhile and that's going to help you, if you really want to bridge gaps, you're not open to it.
Right. Or you're not open to it happening another way. You want it to go your way.
Or the highway.
Exactly. Well, no, they're going to have to come here and say something to me. No, you got a phone just like they got one. You know, and I think that we're so big on the leaders because I know that Janet, she talked about
from the leader's
perspective, and she did give a little insight and let us know that, hey, leaders are humans too, and we get that and we understand that. So please don't think that, you know, we're saying these things
we're not bashing.
Exactly, we're not bashing. It's just, it's informative. Like, these are things that you all really need to know and understand. Like, the young people are hurting, and some of it is because of life experiences, and some of it is due directly to church hurt, and it is something that it needs to be dealt with so that the bridge can truly be closed and we can come together.
And we have to stop worrying about the water that's all the way underneath the bridge finna overtake the bridge, because the bridge been there so long it's starting to crumble.
The water is overtaking the bridge.
It is overtaking the bridge.
So, what are some things using ourselves as examples?
Mm-hmm.
What would that look like? You know, like how would that thing look like? Like if we were going to enter into a situation where we know we had beef with someone, what do you think that situation would look like or should look like?
Well, I mean, I definitely coming from the perspective on our end and how, you know, just as well as the leadership and whoever that person, it's not just leadership, that person on the other end of the spectrum who you have the issue with, just as well as they have to be open-minded, we have to be open-minded ourselves. We have to come, okay, if you know that you're trying to come within reason, you shouldn't be approaching this thing already in a negative mindset and standpoint. If you come already negative, what do you think is to be expected? Because that energy is going to be felt. Soon as you walk through the door, okay, what do you expect?
Right. Exactly.
Soon as I walk through the door, you looking at me like a bulldog, about to attack. But you wonder why the people don't want to come around you. Actions do speak louder than words.
They really do. They really do. They really do. No one wants to be held accountable for that piece, or, you know, those who are more mature and older than us, they don't. And I don't know why they think giving a gift is an apology. Like, I'm going to take your gift
And keep it moving.
and keep it moving, and I'm still going to need that apology when you get done saying, here go this, I got you this book. Okay, and that apology?
Because that gift does not omit the fact that you understand that you did something to hurt me.
Right.
That is just trying to put a Band-Aid over a wound that's still very much not healed.
Yeah, it's festering.
And kind of in regards, kind of disrespectful, because you're still not acknowledging me or the situation at hand. Which makes me think, me personally, you still think that it's okay, legit, for you to do what you do and say it because you trying to just skate over it.
Go on, let that word marinate and hit you wherever it's going to hit you. If you feel something, just say ouch. Like they used to tell us.
Just say ouch.
Just say ouch.
Ooh, that hurt. But it's the truth.
It is the truth.
Because, and then we have to say this too. Some beefs are just going to stay beefs. You're not gonna get along with everybody.
Right.
Everyone is not meant to be in your life. So I'm gonna tell you, it might not feel good to hear it, but some people and things just aren't meant for you because of you being you.
Or where you're going.
Or where you're going.
Or the call on your life.
And once you get to where you're going, you will be thanking God and whatever else that them people are no longer in your life.
Whatever else.
I'm keeping it real because we have to understand it's some beefs that we have beef for a reason so that we don't have to be bothered to be bringing those beefs along with wherever he's trying to take us.
Or those people or those situations.
Because it'll begin to weigh you down.
It will. And that's why there is a weight limit on all flights. Now, I know somebody done preached that somewhere. I can't give nobody that
we
credit.
ain't trying to be offensive now because we know it's some people out there, you know, they take offense to that. But we definitely, you know, that we had to clarify that.
And if somebody done preached that sermon, so many people that preached it, I can't even remember who to give credit to. So if you preach that sermon,
kudos to you all.
Kudos to you. You preach that thing
we
down.
give kudos.
We give kudos. And that's some beef that needs to be cooked. If you know that you stole something from somebody, just go back and apologize. Or just say, you know what, I was wrong. Let me give you y'all.
I would take the acknowledgement over the apology because at least you acknowledging me.
I'm going to take the apology.
Because you say you want the apology.
Yeah, because, you know, that opens a door for healing. And, I mean, I want to heal. I know that we have to move on and heal without apologies and all that. But I just feel like, why should we have to? How come we can't conduct ourselves as decent human beings and just apologize?
It's a killer just for people to acknowledge.
Yeah.
And give you your just due.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one who is the big bad, all the above, and I'm the only one who wants to be seen and needs to be seen who a little old you. But you forget, behind every entertainer, every politician, everyone that's in any type of position, they have a team. And they have someone that is supporting them. And when you don't have that proper support system when you're going up, what's going to happen?
You're going to fall down. As well as wise counsel.
Yes.
That's where they have a cabinet of people
Yes.
that surround them to give them wise counsel.
And know who's in your circles. because that's another one that deals with dealing with beef. You got to know who are you dealing with and who you giving your information to and who is in the inner courts to know specific things, because everyone ain't for you. Some people want to see you fail. That's just real life.
And some people start beef by sowing seeds of discord.
Yes.
So that's why you got to know who's in your circle.
Some rotten beef.
Spoiled meat.
Spoiled meat. and meat is too expensive now during the pandemic to be having to have some spoiled meat.
Exactly.
I'm just keeping it real.
I'm sorry, but you got me weak with that. Seriously. But yeah, and we, like you said, you need to also be receptive of that apology. You know what I mean? Because like we always say, we like to give both sides. When that person or that leader or whomever it was that comes to apologize, then be open and ready to receive that apology, especially if you've already forgiven them. You know what I mean? And if you feel the need to discuss what happened, because sometimes some people want to tell you, well, this is my perspective, this is how I was hurt, and this is how I saw the situation, and take time to listen to both sides,
because there's two sides to every story.
And I mean, I remember when I was in a situation like that with a leader, and we sat down at the table face to face, and we had a conversation about the things that needed to be discussed. And he walked away with an understanding. I walked away with an understanding. And now we right as rain.
In that order.
In that exact
But
order.
you both were willing to actually
Have that conversation.
sit back,
Yeah.
lower your own personal vendetta or whatever it may be, and be able, like Justin and Janet and all this confirmation, to have that actual communication and conversation.
And beef needs to be cooked, not only in the church, but in your personal lives.
Yes.
With your family members. Friendships, relationships,
Because I got some crazy family members.
Ooh.
But some of them watching, and they know who I am. I'm talking about, I never seen family. Boy,
that's a different kind of beef.
And for it to be family can do you worse than somebody, a stranger in the street. Can't stand to see you have nothing, jealous, getting on the phone, talking about one another. I mean, I could throw some stuff out there. Family, that type of beef, that's a whole nother episode by itself.
But how are you processing and cooking that beef?
Oh, life goes on. I mean, see, I'm the type of person, being a grown man, I thank God for that, because what I don't want to be bothered with, I won't be bothered with. And what I want to be bothered with, I will be bothered with. And if you are bringing drama and negativity and haterade, yes, haterade, guess what? Chop.
Screwed.
I don't have time for it, because you're not doing anything to build, to help me. All I have to hear from you is negativity. All I have to get from you is nothing but, well, you could have did this to look better. You could have did this to do this.
Or you could have just been quiet. Or you could have started your own show and did your own thing. You could have used your coins to do what you needed to have done. That's what you could have did. In that order. Because if you come for him, you come for me too. Know that. You got beef with two people. At least minimum. I know that, it's more than that. It's more than that. Because it is always more with us than it is against us.
We have our team.
We have our teams.
Yes.
But just know I'm the one on this mic to that. And that thing goes vice versa
It
too.
feels good to have that support. It really does. Just as well as you have, because the beef is real.
It is.
And when you have people that allow their mindsets to be overtaken with such petty things,
It's really jealousy.
it's jealousy.
That's what it boils down to.
It's jealousy.
You got something to say about what I'm doing, because you're doing nothing.
And wishing you were doing something other than sitting on your butt, frowning
And looking at us
right now.
as we're doing something.
But these type of things have to be said, because you have people who have been living life bitter for years.
Don't know what it is to be happy and free.
And because of that, don't want to see others. You need deliverance.
Really, you do. Run down to the altar this Sunday with your hands lifted and gather your minds in and ask, Lord, deliver me from bitterness. I'm serious. It's funny. But I'm serious, because if you really want to be delivered from bitterness, you can be delivered
It's
from
a
bitterness.
stronghold.
It is a stronghold. And then another thing I wanted to say really quickly about beef, stop having invisible, imaginary beef with people. I just feel like this: if I didn't say anything to you directly, then I don't have a problem with you. You have it with me, but I don't have it with you.
And don't even know they have it with you.
No, they know they got it with you, because I know it's some people you can sense when somebody not feeling you.
But I'm talking about the ones that be mad at you and you don't even know what the deal is.
You don't even know. Well, it's jealousy, honey.
Like,
9 times out of 10, it's jealousy.
because I did not wave at you hard enough, you felt that deep. That's a personal problem.
That's a personal problem. And if you got a problem with that person, maybe take time to try to get to know that person. You know what I mean?
Pull them aside, talk to them,
Exactly.
and get them to understand where you're coming from, instead of laying dormant and just thinking that someone is Miss Cleo, call me now, and can read your mind.
Mm-hmm. And if you ain't gonna bring it up, let it go
And move on.
And stop hating on people because you think that they something. Like, I hate that beef. You got invisible beef because somebody is somebody, and they do think that they're somebody, but you mad because they somebody.
They mad that you have the confidence and self-esteem that they just wish they could have a fragment of.
But you get you some. Build up your own self-esteem.
Get you some new friends. That's a big one. Stop hanging around those same family members. Start hanging around some different ones. Or cut them off if need be. Because even though they're family, don't mean they're good for you.
Because we can't pick and choose who we
That
related
church
to.
you at, just because you've been there 15 years, don't mean it's necessarily good for you. Maybe that is going on because he's trying to show you that you need to move and go elsewhere. Come out from amongst them.
Mm-hmm. And go to a new land that I show you.
That has milk.
And
Oh, glory.
that's provision. That means I'll take care of you.
That's right.
But, again, our time has been spent.
It's been spent.
It's been
We spent it all.
We spent it all. Okay.
Jesus dropped the charge. He dropped the charge.
That's old
Case
school.
dismissed. Case dismissed. Hey,
That's old school, baby.
I had to take it back real
That's
fast.
way back. That's like when the Clark sisters were still teenagers, old
Ooh,
school.
that is about that old, ain't it?
That's that old James Cleveland. What's that, James Cleveland?
That was, I believe that was James.
See, we in the book.
Yeah. That's for all the old ones out there.
Yeah, all the old heads watching. I remember that.
Yeah, they got to be a two-step.
They finna go play it on YouTube. Anyway. Well, that was another episode of Pew Babies Cooking the Beef. Like we said, basically, apologize when you're wrong. Go to your brother and your sister, have a conversation about it, and wait till cooler heads have prevailed before you do have that conversation, so that you can understand one another, and that a real apology can be given and a real apology can be received, and forgiveness can happen and healing can start taking place. So, with that being said, this has been another episode of Pew Babies. God bless you. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where we'll be exclusively from season 2 on. So make sure you figure that thing out. Figure it out.
Drop the beef with them people who you know can show you how to use your social media.
Figure out how to get that link. Ask your sister that you ain't talked to in
That
20 years
grandbaby.
how to forward you that YouTube link. Oh, glory.
Be blessed.